Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome aboard the spaceship to another episode of Planet New Jersey, the official podcast of the New Jersey Business and Industry Association. I am your host, Randy Stevens, and along with me, as always, is the guru of comms, Vinnie Civitillo. Vince, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Listen, as we enter into the third and fourth quarter of the year, NJBIA is coming into where we host some of our signature events. So today's episode will be sponsored by the NJBIA membership team, particularly those that are responsible for all of our events and sponsorships. So shout out to you guys. Today's episode is for you. And just before we go any farther, our special, extra special guest is the president and CEO of the NJBIA. And before she says hi to everybody, she travels all around the state doing appearances and hosting events. So we are very, very lucky to have her, that she carved out some time to be with us today. Michelle, say hi to everybody and welcome to the show.
Hi, everybody. Nah, it's wonderful. Wonderful to be. This is my first time on Planet New Jersey. I
Yes,
certainly was on other people's business, but it's been a
yeah.
while. So looking forward to it. Thank you.
We're happy to
Is
have you
on
here.
the way, Michelle. Your passport is on the way. We're going to jump right in today. We've got a lot to cover. And again, just to respect everybody's time, Ben, go ahead and kick us off. What are we going to talk about?
So we're talking about the NJBIA's rebrand, right?
Yes,
Like
sir.
that's the new hip thing on the streets. For those that aren't aware, NJBIA is going through I don't want to tag a number to it like 2.0. I have no idea how many times we've rebranded over the course of 115 years, but brand new is the new NJBIA. I was hoping, Michelle, you could talk a little bit about it. What inspired us to do a new brand with NJBIA?
Well, I have to say we've talked about a brand refresh for years because as an association, we've really been on a transformation journey. And people know that, right? Everybody knows us for being the tireless advocate, speaking on behalf of the amazing New Jersey business community for an affordable and regionally competitive business climate, right? I mean, hands down, boom, that's it. But what people don't know us for are the suite of products and services that we've stood up over the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years. They didn't think about us in that space. And so we're like, in order to get in front of them and actually remind people of what we do and how we do it, it's time to take a fresh approach. And I think it's really that transformation in our own business model. We said it's time for something new. And I can tell you, I'm here for almost 11 years. And we've had this, our brand hasn't changed over those 11 years.
Yeah.
And frankly, I don't think that the logo itself has changed in decades, to be honest. As I understand the history, guys, right? We only started calling ourselves Business and Industry Association in about the 1970s.
Oh, wow.
Right. And so I think that it could be fair to say that, that the logo itself probably has been pretty stable from that first change to New Jersey Business Industry Association from what was prior to that, the New Jersey Manufacturing Association.
I mean, I can tell you that my working anniversary is June. This is my 20th year at NJBIA, and we had the same logo the entire time I've been here. So, yeah.
I mean, and I think too, it looks good, right? The colors and everything. For those of you that watch on YouTube and don't just listen wherever you find your favorite podcast on Apple or Android, but for those that watch it on YouTube and can see the logo in our backgrounds, Michelle, maybe you can speak a little bit to the idea or the new tagline, "Business at the Center," like a little bit about the history of where that kind of came about.
Well, I love it. Absolutely. So I think no surprise that the last 7+ years under our current administration, business wasn't really at the table.
Mm.
We talk about the importance of being at the table, and I say, okay, if it's a table or it's a car, right? I mean, if we stick with the table, we certainly weren't at the adult table. We weren't even at the kid table, right? Maybe we were at the Little Tykes table in the backyard, but oftentimes we felt like we were at the Little Tykes table on the other side of the fence in the neighbor's yard. Okay. So this
That's
whole
the very
idea,
exclusive VIP party. Just
oh, absolutely, absolutely, and look at all we accomplished from that Little Tykes table, right? Pretty cool.
yeah.
And then if you think about the car, right? We talk about the fact that, we haven't even been in the car, right? We kind of been like not even in the trunk. So we really needed to reassert coming into a new administration with a new election that's coming in November, a new governor. We needed to say, you know what? Business must be at the center. Now, it's not just the importance of that tagline of business being at the center, right? Because we put business at the center. We want everybody else to put business at the center. But ironically, business is at the center of our logo. And so it spoke to us. We're like, we lift up business and business is at the center. And hey, look at the logo. The big B is in the center and we're lifting it up. And so, and all these things tied together in a very organic way, exactly, that this logo came to be with this tagline. And I think we're all super excited about it, like energized, excited. My gosh, the rollout, I've got nothing but incredible positive feedback. People are so excited and jazzed up about this. So, and then we can talk about the colors if you want to also. So,
No, I was gonna say I'm happy that you mentioned more about like like what went into the thought process. It's more than just a color change, more than just a logo change. But
yeah.
what excites you the most about it?
So everything we do at BIA is intentional. You hear me say it all the time. Everything we do is with action and it's intentional. So all of this is intentional. Okay. I talked about this new suite of products and services that we had for about 5 years. And well, what's business growth? What do you think about when you think about business growth by way of colors? Growth, green, right?
Very true.
Green is all about growing. And so when we talk about, there's our advocacy, right? But what are we doing with these products and services? Is we're providing the tools within which business needs in a very expensive state to have access to affordable products that help keep their cost of business doing down while we fight to make it more affordable for them. So that green connotes the growth that we want to bring through our efforts on behalf of the business community. Now let's pop back to the advocacy side. We are, whatever you want to call it, nonpartisan, bipartisan, right, as an organization. And to connote that, we went purple. The coming together of the red and the blue, red, the Republican, the blue, the Democrat, the purple being right in between, to show that we sit at the center of the issue and that we're nonpartisan and we're bipartisan. So again, totally with intention come these colors. And then you can't see it here, but when you see the logo in its colors, right, we maintain the strength of our BIA blue right in the middle on that B. And so when you see the colored logo versus the blacked out, whited out one here, because we have the beautiful background with the northern lights, right? You see that the blue keeps the history and the institutional knowledge of the association of that very strong, powerful BIA blue that we've had for so long that everybody knows. And I have a lot of blue clothes in that color. So,
and the one thing I didn't think about, Michele, listening to you speak about it too, is like you said, everything that we do is intentional. The timing of it lining up with the change in government, state leadership that's coming. I think that all makes a lot of sense too. And I didn't consider that thinking about how this all rolled out. So that's a good point you brought up as well.
So we talk about what's an incredible, 1-2 punch, and timing is everything. So you know what I love? You hear me say this all the time too, right? I love what we do, but I love even more how we do it. Okay. And that's our culture. That's our intentionality. That's our call to action. So here we were saying, okay, business needs a boost, right? We're here lifting business. What better time to do this than going into a new administration? And what better time to launch this is right after the primary, after we hosted the 2 gubernatorial candidates 1 week after the primary, right, for their first public appearance together, where they both sat in the room, and we presented to them, right, our blueprint for competitive New Jersey, which is the policy document that is the guide path to affordability and regional competitiveness for the next administration. We present that document that night, and a week later, we launch the brand.
Wow.
Right? So it's all this business at the center, attention to the new governor. Here's what we need. I mean, we've got this incredible positive momentum going on, and we are so excited now to brief these candidates and take the business community and drive these policies to election day, first 100 days and beyond.
That's interesting. And Michele, I'm thinking about this too, right? A lot of times when there's changes in large organizations or an impactful organization such as ours, are you viewing yourself as in a transformational standpoint or view at all during this time for the organization? Or is it just like these are more behind the scene things, and what does that look like from a leadership perspective?
No, it's happening inside and outside the organization, right? So, I mean, let's talk about that. You all know the transformation we're going on inside the organization.
100%.
So not just the business shift, like the products and services, and more balancing dues, non-dues revenue, and creating new opportunities, and a focus on the bigger collective business community. right? Everybody who does business, all those great job creators all across the great state of New Jersey, right? Big stakeholder group, right? When we speak for one, we speak for all. And the most privileged are those who are our members and want to be a part of our voice. And so we give them extra special attention, right? But we're also going through some changes in our own staffing and shifting things around to better deliver our products and services on behalf of those that we serve. So we're going through transformation on the inside, right? We're going through transformation as a state. And all of this works together. And again, that's why I'm so excited, because we as an organization are transforming right along with the transformation that we see coming for New Jersey. And we're not coming along with it, we're leading it. Like we are leading it. And that's the goal, for us to continue to lead and be like 1, 2, 3 steps ahead. So that's what really gets me excited, is how this all aligns and meshes together. And I think the staff's excited about it. My gosh, all our internal meetings, everybody's really jazzed up. We've got these meetings with, half a dozen people on across the organization doing this amazing horizontal work all across the organization. It's fabulous.
And then I got one more. So, and I'm thinking about it like this. Everybody, and Michele, you speak about this a lot of times just internally. Like we all touch our members and our organization in different ways. I would be doing a huge disservice to the membership, to the members of BIA, if I didn't ask the question, is there a way that our members can be involved or feel a part of this rollout and this rebrand and this refresh? Is there a way that like they can support us or, just kind of feel like they're a part of this whole process?
So they are. I can tell you the social media activity has been incredible. The emails that I've gotten, the feedback, I mean, people have actually taken time to respond, to repost, to comment on this on social media. And so they can continue to boost. We are a grassroots organization. We live for grassroots. So grassroots is boosting our policy, but it's boosting our brand too. The more we boost our brand, we become the household item, right? The good housekeeping seal of approval. We are the brand for business, right? Because everything we do is intentional on behalf of lifting business up.
Makes a lot of sense. It's interesting too. I had a meeting with a couple of our newer members over the last few days, and I've been telling folks that are either launching their business or looking to improve their social media or whatever presence. And I'm saying to them, I said the timing of this is just it's perfect because we're in the midst of this kind of rebrand. So for new members coming in, it's like you've got the BIA machine and the battery that's put behind what you guys got going on, and like so your timing is like perfect. And for members that are doing some of their own changes, it's like, hey, you guys can be a part of this too. Like joining the momentum that we're building up here is what she's pretty much getting at then, right?
Absolutely. It's a rebirth. I mean, who doesn't love a rebirth? We had our board retreat just a couple weeks ago. The board is like so jazzed up about where we are, and they're jazzed up about this. And talk about engagement. It was actually one of our board members that really influenced the final step on what was a very organic process to the new logo. And what I mean by that is originally we had the swoop. It was kind of over the top.
Yeah.
Because we talked about, we wanted forward energy for forward momentum. So we started with the swoop above. And then Celeste Quintana, a past chair, she said, well, you saying you're lifting business. Why not put the swoop below? Brilliant. And that's why I said like organic and everybody involved. We were like, oh my God. And it was perfect. And that was like the cherry on top.
Very cool.
Nice. Then I think if we allow Michele to go, she'll keep talking about the rebrand. So can you transition over us to talk about WBOLF? And
Sure. This is the big reason
11.
we're here. So coming up very soon, we have it's 11th annual, I want to say,
11th.
Women Business Leaders Forum. This is my favorite event of the year. I know, Michele, if it's not your favorite, it's definitely up there. Tell us a little about it.
Absolutely. So it is our 11th. No surprise that this is my 11th year at NJBIA. And this is our 11th event, right? So think about this. 11 years ago, and Vinnie, you were there, right?
I was there. I've been there for every single WBLF. I'm very proud of that.
Right?
Yeah.
So what do we have? 100, 110, 120.
Yeah.
Really well attended the first year, right? Today, over 500. Wow. 25% of which are C-suite executives. And everybody else who is in the business community, from the entry level, somebody sitting at the front desk taking the customer service call, to those rising stars in between, to the middle level management, all the way up to the C-suite. And what I love about that is intergenerationally, they share for 24 hours. And these C-suite women, they don't just like show up, speak, and leave. They actually go to the breakout sessions. what was absolutely amazingly fabulous a couple of years ago, I popped into one of the breakout sessions and I saw two executive women sitting in the fourth row next to each other, listening to a panel of middle level manager women, right? And they were asking a question, and it was an intergenerational question. I'm like, how fabulous is this? Like, how incredibly fabulous is this? So it's stuff like that that gets me excited. Vinnie, I'm going to use you again as an example.
Here we go.
This isn't just for women, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Because
I was just going to say, going back to what you were just saying, one of the things I really love about this event is that there is something. It's not exclusion to anyone. Like, you mentioned there have been. It's not just that people at the beginning of their careers are invited. There are, and I don't want to speak to what the topics are this year. I know in the past we've had panels that are like, getting yourself off the ground. It's not just that, you're invited. It's that there is content specifically for people of all different stages of their career. I've always loved that about the event. But yes, go ahead. Sorry.
No, 100%. And it was Vinnie Civitillo, who I think it was year 2, told me that he got his best advice at this program.
Yeah, I can tell you, I'm not very good with sales and marketing, but one of the things that they were doing, it was like a sales and marketing breakout where they were talking about the quadrants of personalities, and they were saying that everybody fits into one of these 4 personality quadrants. And by understanding the kind of person you're talking to, which sounds so obvious when you say it out loud, but you can tailor things specifically to that kind of person. Like you can have the same pitch, but just give it to a different kind of person, in a very specific kind of way. And it makes it much better. And I've carried that with me to this day. I'd love to go into like what quadrant everybody fits into, but I that might get crazy.
Well, if you recall, we did a similar exercise at BIA a couple of years ago as our retreat.
Yeah, we did like the A, B, C, and D. Yeah.
Yeah, you were like north, south, east, or west, right?
Yeah.
And the importance of it, and why this is such an important skill, is communication. Or more oftentimes than not, when something breaks down, it's because communication broke down. Yeah. And not because you didn't communicate something. It was the way within which you communicated it, that it wasn't properly received on the other end. And so what was so important about those types of skills, Vin, was that, so if if you're getting ready to talk to me, okay, you're coming into a meeting with me and you need me to do something for you or explain something to me, you're going to know that I open up every discussion with, how's your family? How's your daughter doing? How's she doing at school? Right? So that I'm not going to come in and just I'm not a cut right to the chase person. I also don't walk around the block for an hour. Okay. But I want to make sure that I set up a trusted, comforting environment within which to have the discussion. That's how I communicate. All right. Now bring in another personality who is all business all the time. And they walk in and there's no way you're going to spend 5 minutes talking to them about family. It's like, I don't have time for this. I got 30 seconds. I need this done. So you're going to walk right in and you're going to cut right to the chase with them. Right. So the understanding is knowing when you're going into a meeting and who you're going to be speaking with and presenting to, knowing how they're going to receive you on the other side. Right. Or what their vulnerabilities are or their sensitivities, what to stay away from, what's a hot button. Right. You win, and you get the most out of that conversation. So those are the exact type of skills that we build and strengthen at this event. Hardcore communication, leadership, strategic planning, all of it.
I learned a lot about myself in that session because I was thinking about it and I was like, I realized the earlier in the morning you get me, the more I'm just like bottom line it. And then the later throughout the day I go, the more I'm like, yeah, tell me all about, your journey. Vinnie, as you know him, wakes up around like 11, 12 o'clock. Before that, it is the zombie that is getting work done. But what I was going to say was, and that's the kind of thing that's relevant to anyone. Like no matter how old you are, which gender, there's always some part of the WBLF where they call out the men in the room and they say, we're so glad that, our gentlemen, colleagues are here with us too. And it never surprises me, or I should say it never surprises me that men attend because these are, things that everyone, can and should know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So let's take it a step up. This year we have had in the past, but we have a male CEO panel on day 2. We're going to have, men in the C-suite who are running large and mid-sized companies talk about the importance of the diversity of thought leadership around a table, and why they are champions for having people who don't necessarily just look like them sitting around their table, right? That's critically important. And we're going to have that discussion. Also, this year, for the first time, we have a Good Guy Award.
Ooh.
Hey.
And congratulations, Mike Renna, who's the president of South Jersey Industries, is going to get our inaugural Good Guy Award. Why? Because he walks the walk. If you went on their website and you looked at their executive team and their board, you're going to see an amazing array of diversity around both those tables.
Nice.
So what does that mean? They have thought leadership coming from many different ways that helps to inform best for those that they provide their products and services to on the outside to understand as well. So really good stuff. Yeah.
That's actually an excellent segue into, you don't have to give me the entire agenda, but are there any topics that you're specifically excited about?
Well, I am excited that this year we're doing pre-workshops. And so that's wonderful. We're going to have, and they're very diverse. Unlinking the potential of your LinkedIn profile, for example, very nitty gritty, but like in our workshop, literally where people are going to be like on their phone doing this in real time, right?
Yeah.
The whole idea of being healthy, right? Healthy habits and some tips on, when the day gets away from you and you're literally eating candy at your desk, right? How can you make sure that you have healthy habits in your work, mastering the art of networking, but really doing it in real time, not sitting and having talking heads talk to you about what it is, but you engage in it, right? Resume writing using AI. Who doesn't want to understand really? How do I, ask my AI co-pilot to help me maybe boost up my resume? So some of the examples of some of those great workshops, we talked about, we're going to have, championing change from the C-suite. And then we're going to have a host of programs, again, intergenerational communication, which we just talked about how important that is. But what are some things to look for? What are some tips around that? Obviously, career advice, a few things about navigating a career. How do you get your next step up? How do you build confidence to elevate your success? And then, because I say all the time, this is about hardcore leadership to the C-suite and the boardroom. We're going to be talking about what does it take to get into the boardroom. And by the boardroom, I mean serving on a board, be it a nonprofit board or a public or private company board, because women are making strides there, but not as much as we could. And then for the women who have these skills already, how do we create visibility for them in front of the people to network them to get into these boardrooms? So really excited. That's just an example of a few of the programs. And I do want to shout out our Franzini Award if I can, because I gave Mike Renna a tip, right? So each year, this will be the 11th annual Karen Franzini Award, and Karen Franzini was on our board, and she ran the New Jersey Economic Development Authority for over 20 years. Talk about nonpartisanship. She worked with 6 or 8 different governors from both sides of the aisle over her amazing career. And we were fortunate enough to have her on our board. And I'm fortunate enough to have called her a friend because I knew her for a long time. And sadly, she passed away untimely from cancer. Really devastated us. And I can tell you, she was such a force of nature that when I have a difficult time making a decision, I do what would Karen Franzini do in this situation? So each year we honor a woman in her stead. And this year we're incredibly excited to be honoring Monica Slater-Stokes from United. And the idea here is these are women who get things done without bitching and screaming about stuff. These are women who get things done quietly, consensus building, behind the scenes, moving the needle when people didn't even realize that they had the needle in their hand, right? And Monica is a true testament to that in her leadership. So we're really excited to honor her.
Yeah, I tell this story to some people. Karen Franzini would not have known who I was, but she inspired me in a big way. And it was pretty early on, at least when you started on. We did a website rebrand or redesign, and they asked me to come in and speak to the board about it. And so I had to give a presentation. And this is the first time I'm in front of NJBIA's board, and so I was really nervous. And I remember I got up in front of everybody, And, like some people are, disengaged, whatever. But Karen Franzini had her eyes locked on me basically the entire time. And if her eyes could talk, they would be saying, "You're doing a great job. Like, keep it up."
Nice.
And it was like she, laughed at every joke. She, like, "Oh, yeah, yeah." And I was like, it's that simple little thing that got me through it. And you don't think about it, but just be the buoy for somebody. Like, be that person that can just like help people through. And so whenever we give this award out, I think about that. I think about how like this one person could inspire people just by paying attention,
I
just by
like that.
Well,
focusing.
that was her.
Yeah.
I like
She,
that.
she just had this amazing, so she was always present. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean by that? Like present and paying attention,
Yeah.
not multitasking, not she was always present, an amazing contributor. And you just reminded me, this is actually, it's 10 years of the award in her name. The first year we did just a leadership award and Sally Glick got that. And then we went back and because Karen had passed that following year, she was still on the board my first year here. And then we named the award in her honor that following year. And then we brought Sally into that family and said, now this is always the Franzini Award. And we've given it out, each year since. So
I've been involved with WBLF. I think August will be 3 years for me being with NJBIA. So I think this is either my third or my fourth WBLF conference. But the one thing that I can speak to that I tell folks all the time when I'm speaking up the event and inviting folks to attend is that, and Michele, you spoke about this earlier, 400 or 500 people, right, that come and gather for a day and a half. The energy of that, that's gathered there, it's almost palpable. And I tell new members particularly, I said, once you attend this event, it's all, and you take that energy, if you can bottle that up, and Katie's going to debate me on this because she thinks she created this statement, but if you can bottle up that energy and take it back to your business, it's for sure going to provide some dividend. And that's whether it's a someone that you met by shaking hands, something to Vinnie's point that you heard in one of our breakout sessions. Like, can you just speak to the energy that's already kind of building around this as we anticipate the 11th one coming up this year?
absolutely. I mean, when I get up on that stage to welcome everybody, I want to make sure that we're raising the roof.
Hey,
And so I usually try to do something at the beginning to get people like up on their feet, right? And just get the energy flow. But it's not me, it's them. They've come in ready, and because teams come back each year, great part of this too, a lot of our larger companies send a team. And it's like, okay, so what? They send a team. Great. They send 5 people. No. What happens is that team gets hardcore skill building, networking, and then the bonus, third leg of the stool, they get team building with each other, which in today post-COVID world, people don't get anymore. It's very rare that these teams get off site in small groups to have dinner together that night after the reception, right? Or to do an activity together in one of the breakouts or attend one of these workshops together or go for a walk the next morning before we kick up, right? So the energy is palpable. It's amazing. When I stand up there and I look out across that room at the sea of 500 excited people to be in the room, but then we ask action from them. Remember, we're action oriented. And so I always say, allow yourself for the next 24 hours to be present or you're going to miss this, right? Allow yourself to pick 3 action items to walk away with. And that could be a skill you want to build, a relationship you want to further develop, or a follow-up you want to take away. But if you walk out of here and don't take something with you, then chances are you weren't present because it's impossible to be there for 24 hours and not walk out with many things.
I was actually going to ask about that. So we've forgotten to mention the date, September 17th through 18th. This is a 2-day event, which is unique for NJBIA. Why 2 days? What made you think like, hey, let's this is too much for one day.
Keep the party going.
Yes.
Well, we started it. I mean, we definitely started as one day. See, I knew that was going to happen.
it's all good.
Okay.
People just won't leave her alone.
No.
And she's with us today.
I'm trying to be present. Gosh darn it. So we started as one day, but we got so content rich and we had so many people who wanted to speak and be a part of it that we just couldn't have, we would have had to do like 30 breakout sessions 3 times over and people would have missed the great content. Yeah. So that was number 1. Number 2, we once we wanted to add that true networking component that is so important, we wanted to do it by way of a reception at the end. And we want people to be able to let their hair down. and have a good time and not worry about getting in their car and driving home. And also we want to give them a break, right? We want to say, you know what? I know that you're the one that takes your kid to the bus stop every morning. Get someone to do it for you tomorrow morning. Come out and spend an evening with your colleagues and have a good time, and don't worry about having to drive home and tend to those other responsibilities, right? That next morning.
And Michele, listen, I mean, and to our listeners, we cannot keep her as long as we'd like. So I've
Yeah.
got one more question here before we give it to you for a final word and an invitation to folks. Vin, as important as it is to know the dates of when this is going to occur, one thing that I think is going to be different since I've been here, previous years, they've all been held in Atlantic City. This year, we're relocating, I want to say, to Somerset, if I'm thinking correctly.
Yeah, I've
Is
got it
there
up in
any
front of me
reason
here.
outside
Doubletree
of
by Hilton, Somerset.
Yep. Anything outside of logistics of a reason for that change? Is it more of a centralized location? Can you speak to that at all?
Yeah, we actually have shifted this over the years. We tried to do north-south
Okay.
because no matter where we put it, somebody is inconvenienced. And this was the other part of the overnight as well. All right. Is don't, please don't make the distance be a reason why you can't come. So come and stay overnight. Right. So we did the last 2 years we were in Atlantic City because it felt right as the venue, right? But we've had this up at the Marriott at the Newark
North.
Airport.
Yeah, actually, you're up. I remember I was there for that.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And then people went off site, right? But or we did a reception on site. We had like a dance party, remember? Right? That
Vin was the star of that show. I do remember you and Wayne.
Oh, Vin has some moves. So
I-
talk about
Up
learning
until
things.
recently, Katie had a video of me dancing to Billie Jean that night, and she said she deleted it. I'm gonna take her word for it.
oh
I think we
goodness.
can find it. I think we can find it. So we do try to, and what's nice about Somerset is this location really is very easily accessible from every major artery, right? From the Parkway, from the Turnpike, 287, Route 1, it's a great location. So we're excited to give it a whirl up there.
Gotcha. And you know what, guys, we're running out of time here, but we've got a last word that's going to come from Michele before we sign off. So, Michele, take a few moments, and this is a personal invitation coming from our CEO and president. Been here for 11 years. This conference has been going on for 11 years, and Michele, take it away and invite some folks to come and be with us for these couple days.
Oh yeah, I invite you to come and be a part of something that's really, really special. Really special. We are just so passionate about this event and what happens at this event and what the takeaways from this event are. And you're going to be doing yourself a huge solid for yourself. Workforce development, right?
Mhm.
Each and every day. What do we talk about, gentlemen, all the time? How do we be the next best iteration of ourselves as we show up each and every day in order to perform what we need to do? And in order to do that, right, we need to feed our head, we need to feed our skills, and we need to make ourselves better each and every day. And you get a massive dose of that at the NJBIA Women's Forum. So we're really looking forward to it. And I want to do a huge shout out. This year we have a title sponsor.
Hey.
Citizens Bank is our title sponsor this year. And the reason why, they believe in the workforce development skill building that comes out of this. They're a huge proponent of workforce development. They put their money where their workforce development opportunities are, and they are excited to support this year's attendees and participants in building their skills so they can all be the next best iteration of themselves.
Wow.
That's awesome. I'd have sponsored it, but I can't afford it. So
Oh my
You just
gosh.
keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks.
All good.
Listen, guys, thank you for listening and tuning in. Michele, thank you again so much for being with us today. Again, from Planet, New Jersey, the host today, myself, Randy Stevens, and my co-host, Vinnie Civitillo. We thank you all for visiting the Starship with us. We'll see you guys again soon. Vin, how do I do this here? How do you do this little sign off that you do?
that was Casey's thing, but mwah.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you again soon.